One of the things I found most difficult about my own health journey, and I hear this from women a lot, it's that I was so busy with my career and I was at the same time so busy in my personal life because, we had younger kids and then we had kids in high school and sports and, all the things. And as my career advanced, I had more and more responsibility and less time. And I found myself like juggling all of these responsibilities and obligations. And in the middle of all of that, my body was changing and my hormones were changing. And so it wasn't even just that my body was changing, my emotions were changing because, that all goes hand in hand, right? And I also found myself sort of contemplating like what my role was, like how as I evolved as a mom and as I advanced my career and, as our kids got older, like where did I fit in to all of that? I felt at times like I needed to kind of reconnect with myself. Like I'd kind of lost myself in the mix of all of that, right? And so that created like a lot of emotion. It created a lot of contemplation about who I am and what my place is. Place in the sense of like purpose, not really place, I guess, right? And as I talk to you, and as I talk to more and more women, I'm hearing these same kinds of struggles in a lot of ways. In all of that, we find it difficult to prioritize ourselves. We find it difficult to both prioritize our physical health and our emotional and mental health, if you will, right? Like our overall well-being kind of gets lost in the mix of all of those things. Prioritizing our physical health is more than just about shedding some weight. It's more than just about like fitting into our suits or our jeans or feeling good about, fitting into last summer's bathing suit. It's about really forging a stronger, like more resilient connection between your body and your mind. And that is so crucial for us to have this overall excellent quality of life. And that's really what it's about. When I work with women in our 12-week program and in our next level coaching programs, when we do that one-on-one coaching, it is about so much more than weight. I say this over and over to you all and on trainings I do with women in person and virtually and in our total wellness group. It's about our confidence, our energy, our stress management. It's about our purpose in life. It's about feeling really rested when we get up in the morning. And again, I'm going to reiterate what I just said. Having that really strong connection between body and mind is absolutely vital for your overall quality of life to be enhanced and to continue at that enhanced level, right? So I say all of that because especially lately, I'm finding myself in conversations with women who are asking me about like, well, I have all these things going on and I do want to work on my physical health, but do I work on my physical health first or do I work on my emotional and mental health first, right? And they're asking me questions about how that played out for me. And that's really kind of the point I want to get to today. There does have to be this really strong connection between your body and your mind. But sometimes it's really difficult to get your mind into this positive space, even a space positive enough for you to want to work on it, right? Like you lack motivation, you're feeling down, you're struggling with day-to-day stress, which turns into this more persistent kind of weight on your shoulders kind of stress. Like all of that is happening, and it's a lot to work through. to get to a place where you feel like you can make some headway. And what I noticed with my own journey, and so many of the women we work with in our 12-week MRS program, is that if you start working on your physical body, you start getting strategy in place and support in place for changing your physical and improving your physical, starting to drop the weight, starting to feel a little bit healthier, starting to notice that, your jeans are getting a little looser. When you start there and you put the strategy and the habits in place and you start to, get the support with being consistent, that allows your brain the space for it to move in a more positive way too. I often tell clients, work on your body and your mind will catch up. Work on your body and your mind will catch up. And you've got to continue on that path and that journey until your mind really catches up and surpasses your body. And that's eventually what will happen. So just kind of a little story. I figured this out on my own journey long before I was ever helping clients and ever had this Lori Dowdy lifestyle business, right? So I started working on my physical. I knew that the mental and the emotional, like all that was cobwebbed up in my brain, but I didn't know how to attack that at all. And so I had to sort of compartmentalize is the way I thought about it at the time, not realizing what I was really onto. And so I compartmentalized and I thought, okay, I can control what I eat. I can control the healthy food that I'm putting into my body or not. I can control my movement. And when I couldn't find the strategy out there that worked for me, then I could control getting the information that I needed to start putting the puzzle pieces in place for me to work on the right nutrition strategy for my metabolism and for my hormones. I could start to put the puzzle pieces together to start to control putting the movement pieces and the exercises in place and taking action on those, right? So I focused on what I felt like I had the bandwidth to control. And that was, at first, my physical body. Once I started working on my physical body, it made a little bit more space for my mindset to improve. And so I started adding in things like listening to audiobooks, reading books, reading articles about self-improvement and a variety of other kinds of emotional, mental, and psychological kinds of support strategies for women my age. That's how that kind of started. And so I started with the physical, and then my mind started catching up. Now, I was intentional about the actions that I was taking to improve my mindset, but I had to focus first on my body. Yeah, I hope this is making sense to you. So that's what I did. And before long, I started realizing, well, shit, this exercise thing is doing a lot more for me than just me losing weight. Dang, like eating in this way is helping me to drop inches off of my waist, and it's firming up my butt, and I'm feeling really good in my clothes, but it's also improving my positive mindset. It's also improving like that mean girl voice that I was battling in my head for so long. It's also helping me to deal with like those asshole colleagues at work that are really creating a lot of drama in my professional life, or that jerk boss that I cannot stand. It's helping me to manage those stressful situations so much better than I could. And I started diving into the research behind that mind-body connection and realizing that it's not happenstance. There's some real science to back this up. What's happening to me is scientific. And, fast forward, and I created a lot of the tenets of our 12-week program are created around that mind-body connection. I tell women, I've been talking to women this week in particular, a lot of women who are interested. We have open spots in our MRS program, and I'm having calls with them, to figure out like what their struggles are and if what we do is a good fit for getting them the results that they want. And on those conversations, I'm sharing with them that, our MRS program is really unique, and it is positioned and created in a way that it helps women to solve their problems. It is not about like just losing the weight. It is about like this whole comprehensive mind body solution to get you to literally transform your identity, transform who you are. And that's why clients will say to us, like, I don't understand. I came to lose weight and I knew that there was more going on, but it's almost indescribable, but I'm happier. Like, I'm just a happier person. Things don't get to me as much. I wake up in the morning and look forward to my day. The reason they say that is because we do take this super comprehensive approach to mind and body improvement. And so there are, tons of science, components that support this. I mean, things like you absolutely boost your mood and reduce your stress when you incorporate physical activity into your life, right? You absolutely improve your brain function, your cognitive function, as you improve, the blood flow to your brain and improve your memory, and you stave off age-related kinds of mental declines that that just naturally happen when you exercise more and you get more movement, and those things happen. You get, you have better sleep, your self-esteem improves, your confidence improves, your anxiety and depression seem to improve so much. I mean, there are tons of those kinds of scientific connections, and we all know that. I mean, shit, we're smart, right? We're educated. We know that, but we don't know how to strategically put things in place so that we actually have that happen in our lives. And that's what we do in the 12-week program. And I can give you example after example of clients who have had those kinds of experiences. A couple of years ago, we had a client, I'll call her Jennifer, and she was in her early 40s at the time. She was constantly stressed out. She was really struggling with a lot of anxiety, and her weight was just ballooning. And she said, she loved her career. It was a very stressful career in a health related healthcare field. I'll just put it that way. It was in the medical field, and she loved it, but she knew that it was creating a lot of stress in her life. And it was a heavy weight on her in terms of like her mentally, right? The stress that it was causing. And she said, I have tried every diet. I have done all of the things, and I've never lost any weight. Well, of course, I put in place, metabolic eating plans for her. I put in place exercise for her, and started her with working on her physical first. Okay. And by working on her physical and bringing her mind along with things that allowed her to be more mindfully at peace, allowed her to understand how to become aware of stressors and triggers for stress, and put strategies in place to significantly reduce that stress level. What we found was that her body started responding to the metabolic strategy that we put in place, and her brain and her mindset started responding to all of those other kinds of strategies that we were putting in place. And so by getting her to focus on her body first, her mind started coming along. And when those two pieces kind of came together in the perfect way, if you will, she felt like it was this miraculous thing that was happening, and weight started melting off of her. Well, it wasn't miraculous. There was a method to my madness, and it started working because of how we strategically put those plans in place for her. and coached her through implementing it, helping her when she hit struggles, helping her how to resolve those struggles and navigate through those. That's when we saw a huge change in where her body wasn't responding to anything diet or exercise that she had been doing before for several years, and was very frustrated with that. Her body started responding, changing drastically, and she was so much less stressed and so much happier. And I could go on and on about, examples like that. What I want to give you today is I wanted to give you that piece of information and that context around it, because again, getting asked, do I work on the physical first, or do I work on the mental and the emotional first? I've had women ask me, do I need to go to therapy before I start working on my body with you? And I think therapy is great for everybody at any time. Honestly, I would never say, oh, you don't need to go to therapy. Not at all. But what I would argue is that you do what you need to do there, but you're going to feel like you're in therapy when you're working with me too, because we're going to get you focused on your physical, but we're in conjunction with that. We're going to very comprehensively work with you on your mindset. We're going to work with you on all of those other factors that fall under that mindset, emotional, psychological, and your body's going to start moving and your mind is going to kind of catch up. So that's how I answer that question of, did I work on the physical first? Or the mindset first. And I have a really great effective plan for how to help you do that in a strategic way, so you don't just like flounder out there with, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start. I don't know how to put all the pieces together in the perfect solution. A couple of strategies that you can use, or some things that you can take action on right now. I like to give you some practical stuff, right? So what are some steps that you can start on this journey? One is, be mindful of setting realistic goals. I want you to start with like small, achievable goals, whether that is changing one thing about how you're eating, whether that's taking a 10-minute walk each day, whatever that is. Those small changes can really add up to a lot of big steps. So pick maybe one nutritional kind of thing and one movement kind of thing, with a realistic goal of something that you can actually fit into your lifestyle, right? Number two, when you incorporate activity into your life, start with something that you enjoy. Exercise does not have to be a chore. In fact, it shouldn't be a chore. Find something that you enjoy doing, whether that's walking, swimming, dancing, whatever that is. Start there and make that a regular part of your routine. Maybe it's just 2 days a week or 3 days a week. It doesn't have to be daily, but start with an activity that you can enjoy. 3, focus on having just an overall healthier, more nutritious diet. Okay. And I don't mean diet as in the restrictive sense that we typically hear about, but your diet is what your intake is. Focus on an overall healthier, more nutritious diet, because that's going to help you fuel your body and your mind. So some general kinds of things that you can do is look at where you are now in terms of, how do you eat now? If you're eating takeout and the McDonald's drive-through every day, cut down on that. If you're eating tons and tons of unhealthy carbs, cookies and chips, cut down on some of that and focus on the kinds of things that you already know that you should be doing. Incorporate more vegetables, add lean protein into your diet, add some fruits, add some whole grains, and frankly, for a lot of you, creating more of a balance in that nutrition is going to be freaking eating. Like, stop doing the fasting, put some nutritious food into your intake each day, but start small and you'll be surprised at how much that can be helpful. So that was your third one. The fourth one is practice mindfulness. Incorporate, and I don't mean that you have to like try to meditate or sit and do the I don't mean that. Incorporate some mindful practices, even just sitting for a few minutes and breathing deep, going outside with your cup of coffee, putting your phone down, getting away from electronics before you start your day. Sit outside and take some really great deep breaths and allow that sort of peace and calm to come over you before you start your day. There are some really great, super simple kind of meditation sorts of brain balance activities that you can do. And I'm happy to give, I even have a code for a year of a free app that is a wonderful way for you to start with mindfulness. Our clients absolutely love it. You can get it an entire year free. So send me a message if you want a code for that year free, and I'll send you that information on that app. But just some very simple mindfulness activities. Spend 5 minutes in the morning reading or listening to music or reading scripture, whatever it is that kind of puts you, at peace in the morning. Spend a few minutes doing that. And my fifth suggestion is going to be for you to seek support. Work with a coach, whether that's me or someone else. Find someone that you can trust, that you believe will have your back 100%. Join a supportive community. You guys know that my total wellness community is open to all professional driven women over 40 who want to be surrounded by very supportive, like-minded other women. There's that opportunity for you, but find a place where you can get support in a community, virtual or in person. You can get a coach, but have someone who has the expertise, the experience, and the motivation and care and concern to help guide you and motivate you through making your way, getting started, and then making your way on this path and this journey so that you can truly make a significant change in your life in a way that is overall going to give you that quality of life, that identity, that presence, that feeling of purpose in this next phase of life. By prioritizing your physical health first, you are truly investing in a foundation that supports your mental health, your emotional well-being. And taking care of your body, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity if you want to live balanced, healthy, feel fit and energized, and mentally at peace. And so don't put it off. Start today, and it can slowly build and grow, and you'll be surprised at the transformative power that it has in your life to make you a healthier, a happier, and overall just more peaceful you. So there's my Lori lecture for today. Thank you guys. I really do. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for spending this time with me each week, listening to me, share what's on my heart. And yeah, so thank you for being here, and I will meet you right back here next time.